Okay, start your recording.
And Nate yells at me. I was just talking about that. Yeah. I've taught this class, I think 5 or 6 different semesters or whatever they're called now, and I've only forgotten to record one class. And sure enough, I had a call from Nate. It got over at like 9:01. He's like, "It's not up on YouTube. Did you remember to hit record?" I'm like, "Oh no." So then I have to go home and like reteach the entire class just to myself to record. It's awful. But I am live. We're good to go. So if you watch the recording, it'll start now. So instructor review, I won't talk about ODSA much since they already covered it. I'll give you a quick, a little bit more details about how we're going to be running the course. I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Sorry, guys. Sure. And then we'll go through tonight. Tonight will definitely be the kind of the least hands-on, as always. It's a lot of orientation, overview type stuff. But we will get into, once we go through what a typical night will look like, we'll get into week 1. It'll probably last only about an hour or so. It'll be just kind of an overview of Tableau, making sure you guys all have it downloaded on your computers properly, where the buttons are at, what to press, how to kind of use it. But we'll really get into like the meat and potatoes night 2, which will be on Wednesday. So I always like to give that preference, because otherwise we start night 1 and everyone's like, "This is super boring. I just got to talk to that for 3 hours." Then you take your survey of me and you're like, "Charlie sucks," and then I get fired. So tonight will be a little boring, calling that out at the beginning, but we'll get through it and then we'll hit the ground running. So a little bit about me. Again, my name is Charlie Burtwhistle. I'm currently the Senior Director of Course Subscription at BuilderTrend. I'll give you guys a quick kind of overview of what BuilderTrend is in a second here, because I will use it for most of my examples in class, so it just helps to connect the dots a little bit. I'll send out all the decks after every single class into Slack. So you guys, if you want to take notes, feel free, but you'll have this exactly. I have my contact information on there, phone number, LinkedIn. But again, I check Slack constantly, so that's the best way to get a hold of me if you need anything. I grew up, each picture on here kind of means a little something. I grew up on a cattle ranch in northeast Nebraska, in a small town called O'Neill. I lived there until I went to college. So I always thought I was just going to go back and be a rancher. So what my dad did, I'd be the 5th generation. If I at some point I went back and did that. But was surrounded by cows and horses my entire life. I went to Doane University for college, which is a small liberal arts school in Crete, Nebraska, about 40 minutes south of southwest of Lincoln. And played basketball there all 4 years, which was awesome. I had really no idea what I wanted to do. My sister is a physicist, so I thought I wanted to be a physicist. Then I thought maybe I wanted to be an engineer, but there wasn't an engineering program, so I was double major in math and physics. That was brutal. Then I got really into software development around my junior year, so picked up a minor in comp sci, and that was where I finally thought I was going to go after all my internships and journeys. So I found out about this company, BuilderTrend, and I went to on a tour or something there. I was like, "I want to be a developer here. What do I need to do?" They're like, "Oh, you have to go get some .NET experience, which is like a coding language." So I went and learned that. Then I went in for my actual interview, and I was telling Luke was his name. He was the VP of product at the time. A little bit about my background. He's like, "Well, I have this vision for data science at BuilderTrend. And you have math, you have computer science," kind of like what Nate said. There was no data science degree at the time. He's like, "Do you want to give it a shot?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really know what data science is." 7 years later, I still don't. But if you want to try it, I'm down to try it. I just want a job, right? So I got super, super lucky. I'm incredibly fortunate that he took a shot at me. And that's where I ultimately ended up in data science, kind of by happenstance. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my BuilderTrend journey here in a second. But most importantly, this is my wife, Audrey. We got married last year. We've been together for 6 or 7 years now. And I love her more than anything in the world, other than my dog, Tebow. So you'll hear a lot about Audrey and Tebow in my examples, so I wanted to give them a shout out. And then this is a super old, outdated picture and graphic, but it's the only one that has my picture on it. So I wanted to include it. We have hired interns that have gone on to be full-time at BuilderTrend directly from this course. So one thing that Nate didn't hit on that I always really appreciate what he does, because I think it's really cool, when you graduate with your certificate, ODSA will actually help you get an internship at a local company here. They have a ton of connections. They know what companies are trying to build their data science team, They have the reputation of knowing that if you graduate with a certificate, you're going to be awesome. We have had people apply at Buildertrend. We actually have one just left. We had 3 professors teaching at ODSA at Buildertrend. Now we have 2, but a close personal friend just left to go start his own company, and he still would be a fantastic referral as well too. So Buildertrend is located here in Omaha on 120th and I Street. It is a software company for residential home builders and remodelers. So if you were to build a house, if you were a home builder, you would use Buildertrend to run that entire process. So like your leads coming in, building out your estimates, share with the homeowner, scheduling all your different tasks on the job. If you're using subcontractors, you manage all that as well too. You can pay them, you can get paid, you can manage all your warranty, everything like that. So I started there, as I mentioned, as I think at the time there wasn't a data science department, so my title was like a product analyst or something. And huge shout out to the founders who made Buildertrend as successful as it was for the first 14 years without an analytics department. But when I started, there was a ton of low-hanging fruit once they realized what sort of questions could be answered with data. So originally, my first year or so was a lot of just like product analytics data. How many people are logging in every day, right? What features are they using? Are they using the estimating feature? Are they using the scheduling feature? If they use that feature, how likely are they to stay with us? How much are they paying us every month? What should we onboard them on to get them to stay with us longer? Different things like that. Slowly and surely scaled the team. So originally it was just me. We picked a couple people in-house that were kind of doing data-esque type things, officially founded the data science team with us, 3 of us. And then I moved into kind of a manager role after that and actually scaled the team at its max up to 18 people, which was a really, really cool experience for me because I got to meet and interview and hire some really, really talented people. Of the 18 people I hired, probably like 10 interviews per hire, probably like 100 resumes. So I probably looked at, a couple thousand resumes, probably done a couple hundred interviews. So when Nate talks about like what skills are you looking for, I'd like to think that I have a pretty good grasp on that. Data science resumes, as you can imagine, aren't exactly the lightest reads in the world. So brutal, but it's cool. I gotta come up with different job descriptions, different titles. When I was hired, Buildertrend had 300 employees. We're up closer to 1,000 now. So the cool part about that journey is I got to kind of touch each part of what I call the data science spectrum. So originally, when it was just the 3 of us, I would call us what we refer to today as like full stack data scientists. We were doing the data engineering, we were doing the ETL stuff, we were doing the data analyst work of like actually finding the insights, we were doing the data biz work to actually produce those insights and publish them places. We were doing the data scientist stuff with like the forecasting. And as we scaled and hired more people, we got to then kind of narrow our focus a little bit. Now we have a specific data engineering team. We have a team that all they do is data visualization. We have a team in distinction between like what's the data scientist track and what are the skill sets you need versus the data analyst track and the skill sets that you need there. So it's been cool to watch that grow and scale. And it's really given me a cool vantage point around the distinction between those different areas in the spectrum, what skill sets you need, and kind of the right way to teach them. Since then, I left the data science team. I was managing 18 people. I didn't really want to manage 18 people. I was missing the IC work. So I moved over to kind of the corporate strategy side, which is a super vague term. I don't know. I still do a lot of the same stuff. I just don't have to manage people, which is awesome. And then just recently, actually, we moved a new team called Business Intelligence under me, which is a kind of a subset of high-performing people from the data science team that just work on kind of the high-impact projects that's directly dictating the strategy for our kind of exec team and board at Buildertrend. So I do. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I still do a ton of Tableau and data science work, but I also have a small kind of tiger team under me now that does a majority of that. So I've gone from being kind of the IC individual contributor to kind of managing that team of high performers, which has been cool. So that's kind of my journey throughout Buildertrend and where I'm at today. You'll be hearing a lot more about it, but it's been cool to kind of work through the different levels of producing the reports, to reviewing the reports, kind of asking for the reports, and kind of giving you that full story of how insights are derived and what's the best way to produce them, which is data viz. So that was a long monologue about me. I apologize. Any questions about anything I just covered?
What position did you play when you were?
I was kind of I didn't play very much. I was a guard, technically. I always joke that I was like the GPA booster on the team. But that picture there, that's from senior night. They let me get in and take a couple shots. I actually made that shot. So, yeah, but I was a guard. Cool. Nate hit on this, ODSA's mission. I think the big thing here is you're going to learn from an actual data science practitioner, which is a cool title. But it's funny, like when he first asked me to teach this class, he's like, I want you to teach like what you actually did, like in practice that day, not like in theory. I'm like, I'm not creative enough to come up with like an in theory data science class. I'm not a teacher. I'm not formally trained. I did some tutoring in college, but like everything I teach will be directly from what I did in my day-to-day here, because I'm not smart or creative enough to come up with anything else, which I think is really cool. I think that of the 18 people I hired, I think maybe 2 had like data science certificates, and it really wasn't like a driving factor in why I hired them anyways. A whole sort of different backgrounds. All that really matters is that you can think analytically, you're very curious, you like to solve problems. That's what makes a good data scientist or a good data analyst. And I hate data science theory. It's cool if you can build a model. It's cool if you can enter some competition, build a prediction thing to 99% accuracy, great. But what does that actually do for the business, right? Why would I hire you if you don't have kind of boots on the ground understanding of what value you can provide? And I think that's what we're going to teach here, is like how to produce reports and visualizations that will actually drive impact at a business, whether that be you go get hired somewhere, or you start your own, or you do consulting, or even your day-to-day life. There are some crazy, we'll go through it here in a bit, there's some crazy data visualizations out there. We're not even in the same stratosphere of those in this class, but what you learn in this class is what you will actually build in the real world in industry, which I think is cool. So that was the only other thing I wanted to hit on that Nate kind of talked through there. High level overview, it will be 8 nights, 4 weeks. It's going to be a ton of drinking from a fire hose. I try to jam pack as much as I can into this. We will get through like a very wide array of different things. We'll go deep in a couple areas that are important, but he kind of hit on, Nate did, kind of the constant learning here. You will know everything you need to know, and you will know everything that you don't know, to the fact that you can go and learn more, if that makes sense. There won't be a topic or a feature or a chart that you don't at least know about at the end of this, and you will have the tools, understanding, and practice to go and learn on your own. It's a lot though, and you really truly kind of get out what you put into it. So if you want to go above and beyond every single week, do that extra learning on your own, you're going to get more out of it. I'll talk through kind of the class expectations here in a bit, but tonight will just mainly be intro. We'll download Tableau, we'll pull it up, we'll show you how to click around and do some cool stuff. Night 2 is honestly the most important night of the entire class, because everything will kind of build off of that. We'll get into some fancy kind of advanced charting after that, some geospatial data, which is a fancy way to say building maps. Everyone loves to build maps. And this will kind of be our basis for like how to build stuff in Tableau, how to build charts and reports and visualizations. And then the rest of the class is kind of how to analyze the things that we're building. How do you find the insights out of that? How do you highlight it and tell the story? And so we'll kind of be chunked up into 2 separate, kind of informally, 2 separate sections here. Favorite chart of all time, people always say data is the new oil, which I agree with, but it's unrefined, right? It can't be used. You can't just toss a spreadsheet out to someone and say, here's your data, right? You have to learn how to find it, how to extract the insights from it, how to turn it into the gas or whatever. Data must be broken down and analyzed for it to have value, which is what we're going to learn in this class. Kind of nightly schedule, again, Monday, Wednesdays, 6 to 9. Rarely will we go all the way to 9. Typically what we'll do is wrap up around 8, and then the last hour will kind of be like hands-on office hours. We'll have quote-unquote homework every night, but the goal is for that last hour to be homework time, so you can leave at 9 and not have to do anything on Tuesday or over the weekends. But the actual teaching will typically get over 8, so if you have something you have to get to, feel free to grab your laptop, pack up, head out, and then just do the homework the next day or whatever. I will have office hours from basically half an hour before and half an hour after. Please feel free to take advantage of them. I get paid hourly, so the more time you guys come spend with me, the more money I make. So I'll be here 5:30 to 6 and 9 to 9:30 every night, regardless if you guys are here or not. I'll just be posted up, so feel free. Slack me or whatever, say, hey, can I show up early tonight? And we'll get it taken care of. Like I said, it's kind of broken out into each night. We'll be broken out into 3 sections. First hour is going to be kind of more teachy. The second hour, I'm going to actually pull up Tableau and show you guys how to do stuff. And then the third hour will be kind of the hands-on assignment questions and things like that. I think I have it here in a second. Nope. The storytelling. So this is the part that everyone hates, but we have to do it. Storytelling is 50% building a really compelling visualization to show people and tell the story, 50% being able to articulate it. So we will spend time and ask for volunteers every single night to pull up their homework from the night before and walk the class through it. It's really useful for a couple different reasons. One is it's just good practice talking about and describing data. 2 is that each homework assignment is unique to you. So it's a really cool way for us to get eyes and understanding on different things different people are doing. I will teach you one way, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in the class. You'll get to view another 10 ways over the course of the entire class. So it's just a really, really cool way to make sure that we're all learning as much as we can from each other and kind of forming those relationships.
When will the recordings be available for that?
9:01. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I hang up here, it automatically publishes YouTube. So as soon as we wrap up, I will every night shoot you the link to the recording and the deck that I walked through, as well as any examples that I published in class here. So you'll have all that.
Is the YouTube channel just one hot data science kid?
Yep. Cool. Last slide here, then we're gonna take a break, and I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour of a way better bathroom. I don't know why Nate always describes the one that's back in the dungeon. Feel free to use it, but there's like nice bathrooms right outside. So this will be kind of the grading the class. It's purely pass-fail. The pass-fail distinction comes from night 8, the very last night. It is 3 hours blocked just to do our final assignment. So the final assignment, I'll have the requirements spelled out. You just build the thing. It'll use most of the things that we talked about throughout the course, and then you'll be good to go. So as long as you build that thing, you pass. In the past, I've had people get it done in literally 30 minutes, and I've had people that spend the full 3 hours. I'll be here walking around, helping you all out. No one has ever not gotten it done, so don't stress about that. But that's really the only expectation of the class is you will publish this final project here. As soon as you hit publish, you pass. I'm trying to think when I talk about it here. We'll be using Tableau, obviously, and we'll be using a version called Tableau Public. So what Tableau Public allows you to do is publish all your visualizations to your online portfolio. So every single homework assignment that we do, that's where we'll publish it to. So the cool thing is when you graduate from this class, you will have 8 projects in your portfolio for you to go and put on your resume. So of the 1,000 resumes I looked through, whatever, anyone that ever had a link to their Tableau Public profile instantly got moved on to the next stage. I'm like, all right, they're a self-learner, they've gone above and beyond, they have a portfolio that I can go look at. Sometimes I wouldn't even look at it. I'm like, they have a portfolio, we're good to go. So that'll be good. That'll be cool. And then Nate always asks for the final project links as well too, because he likes to highlight some of those to highlight the class and like his weekly newsletter that he sends out. So other than the final project, which is pass-fail, attendance is mandatory in quotes. You have to at least watch the recording. So if you aren't able to make it, that's fine. I understand that this is from 6 to 9, twice a week is a large time commitment. Things pop up, people have kids, families, and trips, and things like that. All I ask is that you message me. I have a little attendance list where Crystal and Nate makes me keep track of everything. Message me, I'm not gonna be in class. I'll make up the recording and you're good to go. I put a little E by your name for excuse as opposed to an A by your name for absent. And that's just part of their accreditation process that they go through. So do whatever you need to do. watch the recording. At the end, I'll walk through the homework, do the homework, and you'll be good to go. So mandatory, but you can make up classes, so don't worry about it. I do not, bad start to prove this point, but I actually do not like talking that much. So I really want this to be a collaborative environment. We'll do a ton of hands-on stuff. I'll have people go around, ask questions, share examples, things like that. Please, please, please be collaborative. People online, you guys are hooked up to an owl that sits at the top of the class here. You don't need to unmute or you don't need to raise your hand or anything, just talk and it comes out of the owl, ask questions. The StreamYard has the ability to like share your screen and stuff like that. So it actually works really well. Every class I've ever taught has been about 50-50 in person and online. So I'm very familiar with it. Like Nate said, great if you can come in, but I have plenty of practice teaching and running this class with a hybrid mix. Please participate, or answer the leading questions that I ask. And then I already kind of hit on the weekly assignment. Last hour of the class, I'll give you guys kind of some requirements. It's pretty much just reproducing what we just learned about. They don't take an hour. Most time they take about 15-20 minutes. And then the assignment will lead into the storytelling of the next class. Any questions on how we run the class, the point of the class, who I am, what we're going to do? No? Cool. And then the last thing, every hour on the hour, as close as I can, we'll take a 10-minute break. So at 6:55 right now, we'll come back here at 7:05 Standard Time, or either Central Standard Time, and we'll get into officially week 1. So people virtually, feel free to do whatever. People in here, I'm going to be going up to the bathroom if you want to follow me, and we'll be right back. And I'll put on my little ticker here.
You say 5 or 10?
10. We'll be back here at 7.
After.
Yep, correct. And I have this nice little scroll thing at the bottom of the screen. People virtually. Yeah. All the places now. Yeah.
There wasn't many batteries. Just we go up like three floors of stairs. All this goes treading and some trouble to get. We get out of here.
You know what?
When we get out of here, can you just help out with the gas?
Yeah, we will never.
Question. Basically, one night schedule, I'm also and so I'm drinking with articles. But I found out that I like that stuff. It's so powerful. But yeah. So for me, I'm stubborn, so I ended up like going to 4 in the morning messing with the phone. But it became like an obsession. It's how to describe it. So what else?
Because I was just there, I've never seen that advertisement.
Being a nerd is coming up. So that thing, there are many versions of them anymore, and this is not the newest one. They're basically writing hoods. It's the brand. Remarkable.
Swedish company.
I think they're like international. Every time they charge me to upload, it goes to Sweden, so I swing to Sweden.
Just go to the cloud, where it is, or is there memory on there?
There's memory on here, but my fear is always that I'll lose it.
Okay.
So for
Okay.
you can literally get your scribbles. The cool thing about it is if you're good enough in your writing, you write neatly, it will recognize your writing and it can turn it into a printed text. So that's kind of which but when I take notes, I take them all over the place. Like I'll start with this and
That's a little arrow.
scribble, and the AI is getting better, but it's like, dude, come on. So, but yeah. And I always lose pieces of paper right there on to scan. I have to scan it. It was okay. And then one day I was like, where's my notepad? Like, I wish you would have that. I'm like, well, I'm one of those guys. Seeing that.
So you might use it for practice factories.
Yeah, I find it very useful, especially like for remote professional meeting goals. You know, still now, you know, I go to interviews and stuff, and it's great. It's great to organize things too. Possibly organization is more important for me than actual goals. Because just get it on there, and if I force myself to do this, I don't lose anything. And now for 3 years now. You surprise how you know it's like you go in somewhere like the biggest
Okay. How about that?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's storage of holiday. It's not the best software. Yeah, it's not the best software. Basically, gives you like folder structure, download images, it's so remarkable. You should get an older model, and that's weird. Yeah, it kind of looks cool.
Yeah.
It's weird, but conversation
Yeah.
used to. You have to change. There are many different technologies now. But this one, it's like a vessel. It's like a rubber or something. I'm not sure what kind of material this is. But you feed just for this, but it wears off. And they're not cheap. That's not the ways they do it. It's fun. I still to this day. How does this transfer, you know?
Yeah.
Builder Trend broke my heart, man. They have an agile coach position. I've been applying for it like 1 or 2 times.
Really?
It's gotten, I blame it on the AI, although like who knows, it's probably me, but I can't even get to HR, it's just.
Really? What was the position?
Agile coach.
Okay.
They got
It's like on the product engineering side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are they hiring right now?
They have it on there, but it might be closed.
Yeah.
Sometimes the software closes it after a while.
Yeah. I will reach out. If you get nothing else from this class, I can please tell HR, hey, my guy for a chance.
And they brand me to never hire me again. Somebody's complaining about us, our efficiency out there.
All right. Wait like 1 more minute here. I think everyone's back here, but 1 minute heads up for everyone virtually. We'll get going here in just a second. All right, let's do it. So, since obviously we did not have any homework from week 0, week 1 storytelling. Like I said, normally this will be a chance to showcase the work from the previous class. Tonight will be intros. So we're gonna go around. Please say your name, where you currently work, or your role. Why or how did you learn about ODSA? How much Tableau or other BI you guys have used, Power BI or Looker or anything like that, experience you have. 90% of the time this is 0, so don't feel bad if you've never used anything before. What do you most hope to get from this class? And then fun one, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? So we will start in person, right here if you don't mind.
I'm Melanie Boudreau. I'm a teacher. I teach mathematics at a high school, and we have a data and analysis very beginner level at the school. So kind of getting the ideas to the students in there. We're trying to introduce Power BI and Tableau this year to the class, so at least for the ones who are doing their second year. And I know a little bit about Power BI and not a lot about Tableau. And that's why I'm here.
Perfect. And what would your superpower be?
Flying.
Of course, it's a solid one. Well, 2 things. 1, my high school math professor was the most important professor I ever had, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her, so thank you for all that you do. And 2, I absolutely love Burke, right?
Yes.
That you guys are starting. I think I had Ronnie in my class.
Yeah,
before.
she'll be here as well. She
Cool.
just can't be here today.
And I've told her this before. You guys kind of leading the charge and starting like an actual data analytics department is really, really cool. I think we're going to see more and more of that. Doane University, where I went to college, is actually completely rebranding their math department to math data analytics. So it's cool to see that, and I'm honored to hopefully play a small part in that. Matt, right?
Yes.
Over to you.
Thanks, Charlie. Matt Kirilov. Yep. Young Russian name, but I'm Bulgarian. Just like you, came to the States to hoop. I redshirted at the University of South Dakota.
Oh, sweet.
I'm not a short guy, that sucks.
Is that the Coyotes? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yotes. Let's go Yotes. That's I'm mentioning it because O'Neill's not too far off.
Yeah.
Vermillion.
Many times.
Yeah. But 70 pounds and 20 years later, I just finished a career before Agile just burned itself out. Seems like, that flavor of project management, and it's kind of grasping like what do I like. In my last assignment, I was just telling the story about Power BI and how I just accidentally fell into Power BI and I'd stay till 4, 6 in the morning just because I thought where I want to really make the reports look great and tell that evidence-based story. So yeah, no role now. Kind of looking to switch gears, maybe incorporate some of what I used to do in Agile coaching. Which I did all over the world really until just like I can't even get an interview now. I think that is interesting out there. So looking, you guys all know, let me know what you know. Why ODSA? It's like a strange string of coincidences. I was both trying to connect and find this, and I actually got a scholarship to Nebraska work for solutions for this, which I'm very grateful for. But I really think that it's experiential. I've done a lot of teaching, and it shows even the top PhD, the most eloquent professor that waxes poetic on any topic. At some point, when the rubber hits the road, especially in a lot of my teaching, I get hammered so much. Okay, Monday I'm going to go back to work. How can I apply this? How can I make this happen? That's what really excites me, because you guys seem to have that no nonsense curriculum, just rubber hit the road stuff. Okay, how much Tableau or Power BI? Dabbles in Jira, tons of Power BI without even realizing it. But when I really got deep into Power BI, I realized how deep it is. Not a ton of Tableau, so I'm excited about that. Okay, what's superpower? I don't know. I want to be a little bit taller so I could dunk without, killing myself. Just squeeze my dunk in like I could back in the day. But
There you go.
I would have given anything to do it on a consistent basis. I'm so jealous of these guys, just like 4 or 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
And I passed the ball to Paul. No.
Hey.
Yeah, my name is Peyton Boland. I currently work at Smash Park. It's like a paddle ball thing. It's pretty cool.
Love Smash Park.
Yeah, I am looking for a new job, but basically what I do there is I've learned pretty much everything to do there. I help everybody out, so I don't really have an actual position. It's just more of a general assistance. So I help everybody out. And then I chose ODSA because AI is pretty dang interesting right now, and computers I think I could get into. I haven't really something to keep into it yet, but I'm excited to. So I really haven't done any Tableau or anything like that. So I'm sure I'll catch on to it. And then I hope to just, learn how to make my way through the computer and, dig down in there and learn all that info and learn how to present it and stuff like that. So, and then if I could have any superpower, maybe a force field, I guess. Anything after that happens, I can just pull that bad boy out. I'll be fine.
I love that answer. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I'll pass it to Liz.
I'm Liz Bowen. I currently work at Mutual of Omaha in the workplace solutions claims. So I'm a short-term long-term disability company there. Prior to that, I worked for the state of Nebraska in Medicaid for about a decade. Why ODSA? So I have my master's degree. The way I got my master's degree was I was sitting at work one day and I was bored. I'm like, I'm just gonna apply and see what happens. And then I got accepted, and I'm like, well, I have to commit now because I got accepted.
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of a thing in my life of about every 5 years or so. I'm like, I'm bored, what can I learn now? And that's kind of how this pops up.
Love it.
At Mutual of Omaha, they're so huge and they have so many different positions that you can do. So I'm always looking for those resume builders too.
Yeah.
I don't have really any experience with any of the BI or Tableau that I learned people at my work to do. And I send when I break things to them to fix it for me.
Love it.
So it would be nice to know how to not break things and call in those favors. I always am constantly learning, so I just hope to learn something new and see, even where it takes me off of my career. In my head, I have it some other way, but that's kind of how I was when I was at the state. And then opportunity arises, and I completely changed my career path. So,
Yeah.
Any superpower, I think invisibility. I just
Good one.
wanting to be visible when I need to be or want to be, and then being left alone when I don't want to be. So especially like when you're shopping in public.
Oh, perfect.
And it would be perfect because, if I run into somebody and you have to, have those nice conversations, but they weren't supposed to be there, and it throws my whole plans with my errands off. So
Yeah.
I'd love to be invisible.
Yeah, that's like maybe my nightmare scenario. It's like I always go grocery shopping after I go to the gym in the morning, so I'm in like sweatpants and sweaty and like a stocking cap and gross. And I'm like, oh, someone I know from work, and you're like, trying to avoid them, but not look like you're trying to avoid them. Because if they see you trying to avoid them, that's even worse. And they have to, oh, just saw you.
I had that happen the other day. I ran to the store and I work from home, so I'm in sweats.
Yeah.
I probably brushed my hair that day. And I ran into somebody. She's like, "Oh, shouldn't you be working?" Like, typically am.
Shouldn't you be working?
Right.
You're seeing me too. Love it.
Okay, my name is Celeste, and the role that I've been in most recently is in a nonprofit and being a grant writer.
Sweet.
And so then now it's the grant writing is looking towards using artificial intelligence. So I figured I would just go ahead and kind of take the lead and go in that direction so that I could up my skills and contribute to whatever, the nonprofit world or the for-profit world. And I had worked as a scientist before, so, and I kind of like the idea of being a scientist, like a data scientist, rather than a scientist with like mice that you have to kill. So,
Fair.
so that's like, that's also something that I like a lot. And I hope to have a certification so that I can, work in the field of data science. It's very interesting to me. So I hope to do that. But then also use my background, because I have a background in like biomedical sciences and grant writing. So probably that's I have enough skills now for something. So that's what I'm looking for, is to have to get to work in data science. And I like the idea of being invisible too. That sounds like a really fun thing to do. So yeah, I really like that.
I was debating between force field and invisibility. I'm not gonna
Well, between all of us, we put sort of like an Avengers type team together. We got everything covered. Sweet. All right, people virtually. I'm just going to go in the order that I see them. So, Nancy, if you don't mind kicking off.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I currently am a baker. I chose ODSA because I kind of know Crystal, and she said it might be a good way for me to break back into IT. I worked in IT for 30 years. So it would be a good way to take this class and get back into that. Well, the thing went away, so I guess my superpower would be a perfect memory, because I don't know what the rest of the slides said.
Apologies there. Yeah, I tossed you up on the screen behind me so everyone could see it in class here, but I think I'm smart enough. I can do this.
You are smart enough.
I did it.
You did it.
This way here. Okay.
I don't have any Tableau experience other than what I've been playing with the last couple of weeks. So I think we got it.
Perfect. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Samuel, I'll go over to you. Maybe. Samuel, do you mind going next?
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I heard my name for a second.
Go ahead.
Yes, well, I'm Samuel Lazarus. I am currently just actually ended my employment with Fusion Med stuff as a data engineer. I'm kind of just looking for a new opportunity. I had experience with data visualizations like Power BI. Did some work on my own and some for personal projects with Power BI, but just wanted to kind of widen my opportunity and getting into Tableau kind of and things. And my main reasons I got on here, one of my friends actually told me about ODSA, and I wanted to get into Python, which I took that last semester, and yeah, just wanted to continue keep going.
Love it. Superpower?
Superpower, I think I'm a fast learner. I think I'll say that, and I have ability to learn things on my own as well.
I like that. That is perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Maria, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria. I'm originally from Colombia and I go to school at Bellevue University. I'm currently a senior and I play for their women's golf team. Um, my ODSA, I don't remember how I found about it, but I do like learning and I've seen that technology and data science kind of taking off lately, so I got really interested into that. I do not have any experience with Tableau or BI, so I hope to learn a lot about that. And if I could have any superpower, I think it would be either be invisible or teletransportation.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. One of my favorite movies ever is Jumper with what's his name? Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, that actor. Super good teleportation thing. Also, I'm obsessed with golf. What's your favorite course in Omaha?
I don't think I've played any course in Omaha yet. We usually play around the Bellevue area, and
Okay.
it's Platteview.
Love it. All right, thank you, Maria. All right, Hamza.
Hey, my name is Hamza Aki, and I currently hold two roles. I'm the director of education at Creighton with the Business Ethics Alliance, and currently from my other office, the Tri-Faith Initiative, I do consulting for fundraising and grant management. My background is nonprofit work, so that's kind of my realm of being in the data space. Get a lot more funding to grow the data, and I have training in writing, but I think it's a very fun year being in the tech space. I've had experience with the AIM Academy with introduction with fundamentals of technology and introduction to computer best practices. So when I met Nate Watson and Crystal Ryder are awesome people in the nonprofit community. They fund a lot of projects, such as the Women in Tech Summit coming with Exarban and HDC. So I asked Nate, should I apply? What should I do? And works out pretty well with my schedule because I work a lot. So I just need to uh, ODSA is pretty much the gold standard here in Omaha, so I'm really happy to get in this cohort. My actual experience is, I would say, novice. If I had more time, I could do it, and that would be my superpower. I would love to just be able to stop time, pause, and finish up all my tasks. I hope to learn a lot of cool things so I can take it back to the nonprofit space and raise very busy year with fundraising, so it would be very helpful to learn more data to help dollars.
Love it. And that is my superpower as well too. Pause time is what I've always said, and I think it'd just be perfect. Pause time, sleep for like the first 24 hours nonstop is what I would do, and then wake up, get all my work done for the week, but not tell anybody. So then just get into work every single day, just like send off what I need to send, do whatever I wanted the rest of the time. It'd be perfect.
It's not too much to ask. That's all I say. I'm like, it's just it's not even selfish. I just want to do it so I can catch up on sleep.
Exactly. All right, I think that is everyone. Give me 1 second here to move around my screens again. So I was taking some notes as you guys were talking there. The couple things. That I wrote down. One, cool that we have some Power BI experience in the class. I have used Power BI way back when, probably 5 or 6 years ago, but used it quite a bit. I've also used a tool called Domo, which is another player in the space. I've used Google Looker before as well too. I still think that Tableau is the kind of industry leader, which is why we teach the class in it. But when Nate talks about like every year looking at resumes and deciding what we want to adjust, it's always a decision I have to defend amongst the other kind of leaders, other professors here. Like, have you looked at Domo? Why aren't we teaching in Looker? Blah, blah, blah. Power BI, a lot of people use that. I still think Tableau is the best. But it is so transferable across all of those. They all look almost identical. They have the same functionality. So I'll be interested, people that have used Power BI before, as I'm teaching something here, please raise your hand and be like, oh, Power BI, we actually do it this way. It'd be cool to kind of see some of those differences here. But I'll talk about it here in a bit. This is meant to be a data viz class, not a Tableau class. Tableau is a tool that we are using, but I believe the skills are directly applicable across every other BI tool. Even, like Excel, you can use charts in Excel using the stuff that we'll learn about tonight. So cool that we have some Power BI stuff. The backgrounds that everyone collectively has is awesome. My favorite thing about this class is that people have different industries they're working in, different titles they've had before, different reasons for coming here. Data is data, no matter what, right? I love the ODSA logo, which I don't have up here with all the ones and zeros. One of my favorite phrases is just, that's all ones and zeros in the background anyway, right? Those skills are also directly transferable. So I've mentioned a couple times all the different interviews I've had. My favorite person that we ever hired actually worked at the Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo doing lemur research. Apparently, the Omaha Zoo has like the world leading lemur research department. Is that true?
Yeah.
No one's ever fact checked me on that before. I've just said it, so thanks for giving me that confirmation.
They're doing another research and they travel.
It's awesome. And so he's like, I want to work at Buildertrend, but it's all, I was explaining to him some of the projects that we've done. He's all like, it's all construction data. I don't know anything about construction. I just know a ton about lemurs. And I'm like, well, the models are the same. The charts are the same. You just have to ask questions, be inquisitive, problem solve the same. Very, very transferable skills. So I would encourage you all, in the homework section, I always ask that you kind of find your own data set to work with. Choose a data set that you're passionate about. We will use in class this thing called Superstore data. Just as a fake data set that comes with Tableau, an e-commerce data set, sales and stuff like that, which is fine for teaching. It's a pretty data set and makes everything easy. But go and find stuff on your own. Use your past backgrounds and industries that you're in and find a way to apply data to it if you want, or just do things that you are interested in. Someone last semester, it's funny, the Bachelor is on tonight, if anyone's Bachelor fans. My wife's watching that at home. Someone a couple of years ago did a Bachelor data visualization where they brought up stats on all the different contestants and how many times they cried and who got final roses and things like that. So use your diverse background. When we do the storytelling, that will be the way that other people can see cool data and cool applications for it. So lean into your diverse background, is what I'd say. Okay, and the rest I'll get covered here in a bit. Thank you guys very much for sharing. We'll start off every class, like I said, with the storytelling thing. Typically, we'll only do 2 or 3 or 4 volunteers per class. Volunteer early because the classes just get harder and harder. All right, we'll get into it. So, actual start teaching, an hour and a half in. Here we go. Tonight will be about Tableau Fundamentals, understanding the interface and how you can kind of drag and drop. Really, it's about learning how to navigate around Tableau. If we get that out of the way, now then we start doing cool stuff. I'll go through some of the terminology and vocabulary, so we're all using the same words. Once we go through kind of the overview of how Tableau works, the first kind of cool thing we'll learn about is how to connect data to Tableau. So Samuel, I may lean on you with your data engineering background here. We'll talk through how to create some data sources, work inside those data sources, and how to join different data sources together, because obviously you can't build any visualizations without data. So we'll go through how Tableau works, how to bring data in, and then we'll be off into the races on Wednesday. So why data viz? I think that the coolest thing about, I'm actually going to skip around. Why Tableau first? Because this is directly applicable to what you guys were just talking about. This is the first course in the ODSA Business Intelligence Cert for a reason. You go, I don't know the exact order, but don't quote me on this. After this one, you have data engineering, then you have Python and machine learning. you kind of learn all of that doing data viz. So I just talked about like data engineering. We will learn how to actually clean, join, and aggregate data sources using Tableau. Then you talk about data science stuff. We'll learn how to build forecasts and different predictability models inside of Tableau. The data analysts will learn how to analyze how the different performance of different regions are tracking, which are the outliers, which do we need to invest in different certain areas. And it's all built in a really cool drag and drop user interface. So the skills that you'll learn building data visualizations in this class will kind of be the leading edge into all of the next classes as well too. So I use the term full stack data scientist. You kind of get the full stack learning in this class using Tableau. And then why data viz? I kind of hit on this a little bit, but it doesn't matter if you're going to be if you want to be a data visualization expert, or if you want to be a data analyst or a data scientist. A lot of what we'll teach in this class will be applicable for any role that you have, right? These are these are Builder Trend specific titles here. But we have charts at Builder Trend for every single role in the company. So our BDR, our business development rep, this would be like a salesperson actually making calls. We have a dashboard in their kind of CRM that before they call every single person, we have charts and stats about that customer so they can have a more meaningful conversation with them. The different team leads across the floor, they can see, we have visualizations for them where they can see the performance of all the different reps, who's hitting their quota, who's kind of leading, who is expected to exceed quota in a given month, who potentially needs more coaching, right? Sales directors, they can understand which teams are performing the best. What are these managers teaching their reps that I should be teaching mine? So on and so forth. Our VP of sales, you can see which regions are performing the best. Where do we need to put more dollars? If Texas is closing at a really high rate right now, there's a home boom down there. Maybe we need to change some of our marketing to target, Texas type builders. All the way up to the CEO. You can talk to the board. How many customers did we sign up last month? We have all of our board reporting built inside Tableau as well too. So these people are all using data viz to be better at their job. So even if you're not building the data viz, which I think if you're taking this class, that's probably the route you want to go. But if you're not building it, you're consuming it, and you're understanding the story that it's telling, and being able to be better at your job, regardless of if you're the one building it or consuming it. So I think why Tableau and why data viz, this just lays such a good foundation for anything that you guys are wanting to do after this class, that I'm truly honored and really happy that I get to be the one teaching it.
What's your take on when to use Tableau and when Power BI? There's a lot of opinions out there.
That's a great question. The only take that really matters is kind of what your corporate governance policy is. They're both there's workarounds for each. There's things that one can do that you kind of have to hack together in the other one. And there's ones that might not look as good, but you can do them. I have no preference from an actual usability standpoint between the two. Like I said, we use Domo at Builder Trend as well too for our customer-facing visualizations. I actually kind of like the UI of that a little bit better, but it doesn't have some of the advanced functionality that Tableau has. The only reason we use Tableau is because it aligned with our corporate governance policy, and our IT team said that this one's approved to do. A lot of people use Power BI because it's a Microsoft tool. So if you're using Outlook and Microsoft Teams, it just fits into Microsoft tech stack a little bit more. I wish I had a better answer to say use this one here and this one there, but so much of that is driven by corporate governance strategies that the cool reasons don't really matter as much. Tableau is nice, and the reason we use it for this class, or at least one of the reasons, is it has Tableau Public, which is free to download and open source, so you can view other people and learn, which I think is a really good community to get involved with. But all the other ones are spinning up their own sort of versions of that as well too. So I don't know. If you ever come back and take the class again, I might change which one I teach it in. It's also the one I use, so I wouldn't be as good of a teacher if I chose something else. But anticlimactic answer, they're all great at different times.
That's good.
And once you learn Tableau, go and look at some of the other ones. You'll be shocked at how similar they are. They all have the same kind of main layout. They have the different tabs where you drag stuff up to. Data all kind of looks the same too. They've kind of figured it out, and everyone's kind of doing the same thing.
Like Android, iPhone, they're competing against each other.
Yeah, you can pick
There's definitely a price difference, a big price difference between the two. So depending on the company you work with, they may not be able to afford Tableau because it is very expensive compared to Power BI. So Power BI is usually a little bit more affordable.
Comes with a gold or silver membership with package.
Yeah.
So
So like the reason we use Domo is Tableau's catching up a little bit, but they're kind of the industry leader in embedded analytics. So for Tableau to view it, even like our sales reps that I'm showing on here, they have to have a license. So it's purely license based. So if I wanted to publish a visualization, unless I'm like the state and I had a deal or something like that, for 100,000 of our customers to view, that'd be 100,000 licenses that I would need to buy. So it's not as scalable. Whereas Domo is a different business model, where it's all consumption based. So you publish one thing with one kind of data extract that goes day, and 1 million people could go and view it at once too. So it's more for like external facing reports as opposed to like internal corporate facing reports. So that's why we use both. The guy I just hired underneath me that would run the business intelligence team, he came from Power BI, and he's already has a little bug in my ear about switching over. And I'm like, give me actual reasons, not just like you prefer to use it and I'll consider it. It'd be such a heavy like cost of switching though at this point. With 7 years worth of data viz published out on Tableau servers, so I'll keep you guys updated on this. All right. My last favorite, this is my favorite line of all time. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Anytime I get into an argument at work and I can come with the data, like doesn't matter about your opinions, what does the data tell me? Great quote by Mr. Jay-Z. Is a gateway drug to the data-driven organization. So like I said, it's been a really cool experience for me at BuilderTrend, getting to kind of be the first one and scale. But you start validating assumptions and you start measuring success. You start answering questions, and more importantly, I think my favorite thing that happens when you show a data viz is people start asking questions. Why is that way? What can we do to change it? You can show me a report that says sales are going down, but why, right? And so that's where you made a really compelling data viz, is actually not when it answers questions, but when it sparks more questions. So again, when we're doing the storytelling, please be interactive. If someone's showing something, you should start thinking about the why behind it all. Okay, Tableau Public, I kind of already hit on this. Pros, we're going to build out a portfolio throughout the class. This is actually slightly outdated. This changed mid-teaching. So last semester, it used to be you couldn't save anything without publishing it, right? That was the whole reason to upgrade to a paid version, is that you couldn't save locally. And so I would always tell people, do not use your real data. Don't connect your company data for the sake of this class, because you have to save and publish it and it's public there. They have since rolled out a new feature that I don't feel comfortable enough using that allows you to save locally and keep everything in-house, which will allow you to work with more confidential data. I'm giving my disclaimer here. Do not use Tableau Public in this class with real sensitive data. If you want to take a risk and try to figure out the new feature to save locally, it does not have my name attached to it. And that's my disclaimer right here. So that's the cool thing about Tableau Public. The bad thing is I don't trust it enough yet to save real data out there yet.
Well, do you have to use our email in it, or do we have to create an email?
Yeah, you can use your work email or personal email or anything like that. Yeah, no reason there. Okay, the Superstore data, as I alluded to, is kind of the hello world. If any of you guys are developers, anytime you start a new project for the first time, the first thing you do is print hello world, and that's kind of your first step. You build off of it. Superstore is the hello world. It's the first data set that everyone uses in Tableau. If you go out to Tableau Public and just search Superstore data, there's 10,000 plus different results of dashboards people have built using the same data set. So it's kind of all collectively and agreed upon across the Tableau community that that's the data set that you use for examples. And what's cool about that is you can go and download anybody else's visualization that they've published, and you already understand the data because you're used to working with it. It's also really nice because it's clean and it's pretty, and it has every column that you would need for every sort of example. So it's the perfectly constructed data set for teaching classes. So that's what we'll be using for our in-class examples. I'd really, again, encourage you guys, though, to go out and find your own data sets that you're interested in, because I don't care too much about printer sales and couch sales and different things that the Superstore data has. But that's what we'll be using. We'll actually download it and connect to it tonight. So
this is PI of Tableau's, and when you say public, that's what other people have created that you can bring in.
Yep. the data set itself, you can go out to Tableau Public and download, and then people build their own charts and stuff and publish it to Tableau Public, but it all uses the same data set. I've used, to find different data sets, I love this site called Data World. It has literally millions of free data sets out there. I actually have a little link at the very bottom for some other data sets as well too. Tableau Public has some free ones out there. Google Data actually has a search engine just for data sets. Kaggle is another good one. Reddit actually has a ton of free data sets as well too. I used to exclusively teach out of Data World, which is why I have the slide in here, but there's a lot of different places that you can find data that we'll cover in this class. All right, we're at 40 minutes right now. Does anyone need a break, or are we good to keep? It's okay if you do. Okay, get out of here a little early. All right, goal of this lesson, familiarize everyone with the layout and UI of Tableau. Make sure we're all using the same vernacular. Just when it comes to talking about where to drag things, it's easier if you know what the words I mean, or words I'm saying actually mean. Again, not a data viz course, or it is a data viz course, not a Tableau course. But we do need to learn some Tableau specific basics in order to build the business. That's kind of what tonight is about. And definitions, PowerPoints, I know are boring. We'll try to make this as interactive as possible. But again, for the last time, this week will not be the norm. It won't be this much teaching normally. Normally, we'll just open up Tableau and build some cool stuff together. I say this a million times week one, so you guys all show back up night two. Cool. And on that note, I'm actually going to deviate from the PowerPoint now. And I'm actually going to open up Tableau and click through this live for you guys. How many people, show of hands, already have Tableau downloaded? About half in here, 1 or 2 online as well. Okay, if you do, feel free to follow along. If you don't, during our next break, I will send the link. Honestly, you don't even need to do it tonight. You can just follow me on the screen. But I'll make sure that everyone has it downloaded, and I'll come around and help you guys for next week. So, let me open this up. And actually give me 1 second here. I was trying to figure out the lights during the intros, but the screen is a lot better if half the lights are turned off. There we go. Whoops, wrong way. All right, I'm going to kind of rapid fire through here. Please just barge in, raise your hand, shout out, whatever, whenever you have questions, and I'll stop and answer them. But there is 8 different kind of key things inside of Tableau to navigate around to. We're going to cover all 8 of those now. Take a quick break, and then we'll actually bring in some data. So for the sake of this example, I am going to, I already have Superstore data connected. Don't worry about that. I will show you guys how to do that soon. This is the data source tab. So at its core, Tableau is separated into 2 different sections. Data source, which is where you bring in your data, connect your data, see what your data looks like. Whether that be Excel or you're connecting to a live data source like SQL Server or Google BigQuery. Data source is what gets your data in. We won't do too much in here because, again, this is a data viz class, not a data engineering class, but we will touch on it a little bit. And so whenever you need to get back to where your data is located, if you need to change anything about the data you are working with, down here in the bottom left where it says data source, this is where you will always be able to click back to and adjust your data. So again, Tableau is super easy to use, super drag and drop. I will cover what this orders tab means here in a bit. But once I drag a sheet over, you can see here's all my different data. You can scroll through it, see all the different columns, see some examples of what the rows look like. You You can go through and see which table it's from. If you change any of your names, you can see what it was originally called and what you changed. If I wanted to go into here, and again, we'll cover this later, just showing you if I wanted to join up a different data set, we can do that in here. But for right now, we'll just stick with one. That is data source. When it comes to actually making a viz, you use what's called a sheet. So I will click over to where it says sheet 1 in the bottom right, and this is the second kind of UI of Tableau. So anything to do with data source, the data, go to the data source tab. Anything to do with the visualization will be in the sheets. Yes.
Why user interface? Use UI.
User interface. Yep. Sorry about that. So you can make as many different sheets as you want, right? Each sheet is essentially just a new visualization, right? So when I say open a new sheet, what I'm talking about is, you can think of them as tabs almost. Open a new tab. So this is where we'll spend probably 95% of our time. Every class will drag in a data set in data source, and that will just kind of be done with. That's the data we're going to work with, and then we'll actually build the cool stuff out inside the sheets. Questions so far? Cool. Now, inside the
How do we
sheet,
get here from the main window?
yeah, it'll just be right in the bottom left. It'll say sheet 1. By default, you just kind of click.
Oh, once you connect your data source.
Yep, you have to
then
connect
you
your data
feel
first.
options.
Yep,
Got it. Over.
good question. All right, once we are in this, all of our, it might actually be beneficial. Let me go ahead and open up that data set, so you guys can understand what I'm talking about in Superstore data. So it's just an Excel file. So hopefully everyone has used Excel or at least or Apple numbers or kind of aware what a spreadsheet looks like. It's just columns and rows, right? So you can see up here, here's all of our different columns inside this data set. When we go over to Tableau, all of those different columns are on the left here, right? So we had the row ID, order date. Over here you can see row ID, can't remember the other one, order date. They're split into two kind of sections here. You may not be able to see it up on the screen, but there's a little gray line right here. The top ones are all blue, the bottom ones are all green. The reason that those are split up, and Tableau automatically calculates this, is just the difference between categorical and numerical data. So in Tableau, you'd call that dimensions and measures. What does that mean? A measure is a numerical data point. So anything that you want to measure, right? If I want to understand how many, the total number of quantities I've sold, right? Summing them up, 116, I'm measuring the quantity. I'll understand what the average discount is, right? Average 0.167, that's a measure. Dimensions are categorical. So those are things that you would group by. If I wanted to understand, here are my different states here, how many sales, my measure, I have in Kentucky, my dimension, that would be the difference here. So these up top, the blue ones, these are all different dimensions, things that you can split by, group by, order by, and then the bottom ones, the green ones, those are all different measures. And we'll get a million different examples over the next 8 nights working with these two. But when I say go to the dimensions, I'm talking about the blue ones up top. When I say go to the measures, I'm talking about things that typically numerical things that you can measure down at the bottom. Any questions between the difference between dimensions and measures? Again, the name of the game tonight is high level. We'll get plenty of exact examples as we start working through it.
Categorical is dimension, right?
Typically, yep. Cool. So we've covered the data source. We've covered what a sheet is. We've covered dimensions and measures. Now, how do you actually build something? There's two places you can drag and drop stuff to build something. You have columns up here and you have rows. And these are kind of exactly what you would anticipate them be, similar to Excel. If I drag category, again, everything's drag and drop, over to my columns, you can see I now have furniture, office supplies, and technology shown as columns, right? Going up and down columns. Or I could drag it to rows. I have furniture, office supplies, and technology listed as rows. So if you want something shown as rows, drag it to rows. If you want something shown as columns, drag it to columns. Now, this is a dimension, right? Something I can group by, something categorical, literally called category here, furniture, office supplies, and technology. All it would take to build out our first data viz is let's bring a measure. Let's actually measure something. Let's drag sales up here to columns, right? So now columns is going to go across this way, rows is going across this way. And now I can see the sum of all my sales across my columns here, right? It's just going across this way. So my measure, I'm measuring sales. My dimension, what I'm splitting it by or grouping it by, is category. And already, ta-da, we built our first chart just with 2 drags over. And this is showing the total sales by each category. Technology number 1, furniture number 2, office supplies number 3. Columns and rows make sense? Cool. All right. Your new best friend inside Tableau is this little tab up here called Show Me. When you click into this, Tableau shows you, right, very apt name, all the different charts that you can make using the data that you have selected. So it's kind of hard to tell on the screen, actually not too bad. The ones that are colorful are things that you can make right now using category and sales. So if you don't like this chart type, but you don't know how to make a different one, you can go and look into this. The gray ones are ones that would require a different number of data, like this has like 2 lines you can see, right? So you need 2 dimensions. But I can click into any one of these and it automatically builds that chart for me using the data that I have selected. So this is super, super handy, especially when you're learning. And when you want to explore what some different data vizes look like, right? If I clicked into this pie chart, there's nothing on columns and rows. What? Something's on a color here, something's on an angle here, something's on a size here. We won't cover how to make a pie chart until like night 5. But Tableau, actually, fun fact, I never actually build my pie charts this way. I always build my just bar charts first, go to Show Me and click into this just because it's quicker for me. And what's cool is if you hover over one of these grayed out ones, it will tell you what else you need in order to make it. So you can't make a line chart because you don't have a date, right? It says you can't really hover and show at the same time. But it says for lines, continuous, try 1 date, 0 or more dimensions, 1 or more measure. So if you wanted to make a line chart, you're like, oh, okay, I need a date in there. So let's drag order date up here. Now all of a sudden this pops up and I can click into it and build a line chart just like that. So I like to highlight the Show Me, especially early, because you guys will want to make charts and not remember how to make them. Click into that and do it. Slowly and surely, as you build up your Tableau acumen more and more, you'll use it less and less. But we've already built like 5 different charts just in the 10 minutes I've been talking about this, just using the Show Me tab there. I'm going to go back to my bar chart, get rid of this. Any questions on the Show Me? Cool. We have 3 more things to get through. So we've covered sheets, right? When you think about a sheet, it's 1 viz on 1 sheet. It's 1-to-1. If I wanted to make this bar chart and then I wanted to make a line chart and show them both, I can't do it both on 1 sheet. I would need to go over here and build that line chart right here. So 1 viz, 1 sheet. If you want to show them both at the same time, you would use what's called a dashboard. So you can see I'm going to delete some of these. I have 2 sheets built now. And then you have these 3 little buttons here. The first one, new worksheet, right? So that's what I clicked to make the 6 things that I just had in here. Anytime you need a new sheet, you click right there. The next one over, right? First one is new worksheet. Next one over is called new dashboard. If I wanted to show both of these at once, I would create a dashboard. So I can click this. It looks a little different here. Instead of dragging dimensions and measures over, you're dragging dashboards over. So I would pull over my sheet 1, I'd pull over my sheet 2, and now I've just made my first dashboard. So sheets, 1 view, 1 sheet. Dashboards, mini sheets, 1 dashboard, right? I could pull over, all of these are all blank, right? But I can make whatever fancy little dashboard I wanted. I can make it bigger. So worksheets are how you build multiple views at once. We will use, obviously we have to use sheets to build the business, but we'll use dashboards a ton. So instead of having to click through each one of them, we just pull up 1 dashboard and kind of talk through all our different business here. And then the very last button here, we will use sparingly. In my 7 years of Builder Trend, I've maybe built 1 or 2 stories. But stories are kind of, I think the reasoning for making them would be more like kind of a web browser type experience. So you can drag 1 sheet on here. You can add a new tab. You can drag a dashboard on this one. You can add a new tab. You can add this one here. So the thought is, if you had multiple different dashboards, maybe this one would all be my different sales numbers. I built a dashboard with a lot of different views showing sales, and then I built another dashboard with a ton of different views showing discounts. And I was going into a meeting and I wanted to walk them through multiple ones. I'd potentially maybe build a story and say, okay, here are all of our different sales, right? I call this sales. And then I'd say, well, you see on this next tab here, this is all my different discounts or whatever. And on the next tab,
strategic folder.
Yeah, exactly. If you wanted to like present in a very clear manner and not use PowerPoint, like this is kind of what you would do here. We will not build a story in this class. You guys can if you want, but we'll do a ton of different sheets and dashboards. But those are the 3 options across the bottom: sheets, dashboards, stories. Any questions on those or the distinction between them? Oh, all right. Last 2 things. There is this Marks tab, and it even says Marks right here, so it's easy to remember. This is how you kind of customize your view. So you can see there's right here, it says bar. You could change this to different chart types. It will automatically tell you which one is best, so I always kind of keep it automatic. But if I wanted to change the color of it, I could do that super easy. If I wanted to change the size of it, I could do that. If I wanted to add on a label, I could, maybe I want to actually, I don't want people to have to look at the axis here. I want to actually show my sum of sales. I would drag that on the label, and those would pop up over to the side. Detail is anything that I want like hidden, but I want to be able to hover over it and see it. So like if I drag discount onto that, now you can see when I hover, it shows sales and discount in the tooltip. And then if I wanted to customize what this tooltip looks like, I could click into this and just say like, this is a test. Then you can update what that tooltip looks like. So again, we will use a million different examples of these different marks to customize our views. Name of the game tonight is just high level, making sure you understand where everything is kind of at respective to each other. And then the very last thing is the filters pane here. So if I wanted to be able to filter by state, maybe, let's go region, just because there's less of them. Maybe I only wanted to show the central region. I could click OK, and it filters your chart. You hit that drop down and go show filter. Now I can click around right? This is what we use for our different sales teams. So they could go in and see, okay, here's how we're trending for the month. Here's where our central region is trending. Here's where our east one is trending, right? You can filter and different around. All right, so those are the 8 kind of key buttons or layouts in Tableau. I'm going to recap real quickly. Data source, bring in your data. Join your data, adjust your data, clean your data. If it's data and not a viz, you're in data source. Sheet is where each view that we build will live. You'll create a new sheet for each one. We have our dimensions in blue at the top. We have our measures in green at the bottom. We have columns and rows. If you want things going across the top, it's columns. If you want things going down along the side, it's rows. Show me is how we can build really quickly different visualizations without having to adjust anything over on the right. You can see as I'm clicking around what's on column and rows in my marks tab. They're changing each time, right? We've covered sheets. If I want multiple sheets at once, I build a dashboard. If I want multiple dashboards and sheets and a layout, I build a story. You guys can't tell I hate stories. We're not going to build any. Marks is how we customize it, and filters is how we filter it.
What's the difference between the paid version? Do you just get more options with the paid version, or?
No, everything's exactly the same.
So it's just more enterprise collaboration, you just pay for more seats, basically.
Yeah, so really the difference between the free and paid version in Tableau is where does your publications end up. So in Tableau Public, if you want to publish it anywhere, you have to publish it to Tableau Public, which millions of people can go in and see whenever. At Buildertrend, we use what's called Tableau Server, which we have a dedicated Buildertrend server, right, tableau.buildertrend.net, where only people with Buildertrend credentials can go in and view it. So all of the charts that we publish go to our dedicated server. Only people with licenses to that server can see it, right? That's their big moneymaker, selling to different companies and enterprises. There's Tableau Cloud, which is kind of like server, and I'm not an infrastructure guy, so I don't know really the differences between the two. But you can buy just Tableau desktop licenses as well too, where you can share with other people, but you would need another desktop license to actually view it. So if you don't need to publish anywhere, you just want to build stuff locally, just use Tableau desktop.
So if Nancy and I want to collaborate on public, we can't really do that. I play my own sandbox. I can throw it out there for everybody, for the world to see, but we can't really collaborate without kicking up.
Right.
Okay.
And if it was just meant to be just between you and Nancy, you also wouldn't want to publish to Tableau Public, because then I can go in there, see your guys' $1 million idea, and trade your company or whatever.
But nobody can edit other people's stuff, right? You can copy.
You can't edit it. You can download it
Okay.
and then make your changes and then publish your own version, right? But they wouldn't be able to edit it. Correct. That's a really good point. I feel like I got another thing. Edit stuff. Oh, I was just gonna say I cover this real quick and then we'll take a break. Tableau Public. I want to walk you guys through that real quick because it's super cool. So this is what Tableau Public looks like. Here's my profile, which has gotten, I should probably start my own one for teaching versus personal, because pretty much my entire portfolio right now is just like 5 different classes of things that I've published on here instead of things I've actually built personally. But you can go to different profiles. I'll have you guys like drop your Tableau Public links in the chat. We can all follow each other. It'll be great. But you can click into any one of these, see what the viz looks like. If you want to go in, I can edit it, right, because it's mine. But you can download it and like see what the data looks like, build your own version of it. They do these things called Makeover Mondays, which I'll need to see if I can find. But every Monday they publish like a really ugly data viz, and then they have a competition to see who would like download it and like build something prettier. They have vizzes of the day, which are always super cool to look at. different trending things. It's really cool. You can get lost and spend an hour or two or a day just looking at other things that people have made. And again, once you publish it, you can get 1 million views or whatever, then you'll pop up on trending. But these are just other things that people have built, just like you and I. Cool. Let's take a quick 5-minute break just because we're a little over right now. And let's make it 7 because I like round numbers. And be back here at 8:10.
The difference with Excel is when you start getting two-dimensional, multi-dimensional, and you start dashboarding, fancier, that's where
Yeah, you can do it, but the learning curve or complexity of doing that type of stuff with Tableau, unless you're a wizard, is really difficult. Whereas Tableau is just a drag and drop away.
So then it becomes more of a design challenge. It's almost like a Canva design challenge.
That's a great call.
That's the visualization part, right? Like you can be great analyzing stuff, but then you have that creative streak, right, to make it, I don't know, compelling.
Yeah, we will cover that. I think night 3, I'd have to click through. Night 2, we'll learn how to build the basics. And then night 3, we actually have a dedicated hour to, I'm by no means a designer. In fact, they frighten me. But we'll go through some basic design principles because there's a lot of overlap and similarities between website design and database design. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we can learn from that field to bring into our charts to make them more digestible and easy to read right away.
That's where McKinsey lives.
What is that?
That's where McKinsey Consulting lives.
Yeah, there you go.
So if I have students that want to work on the same project, we need the server version to work so they can work on the same data set, same visuals.
Yeah, that would definitely make it the cleanest, for sure. I mean, you can kind of get away with it with individual licenses and saving and sending and editing and saving and sending back, right? But the collaborative nature of there is definitely a little harder to get around. And again, I just need to call out when I'm over my skis from a information standpoint. I don't truly understand the infrastructure of the differences between it all. I'm more just kind of the.
Well, and then we were able to get a teacher license, so I don't know also what differences are like when the students have the student license right now.
Right.
And I don't know what they can and cannot do with it
Yeah.
yet.
You guys use Tableau at school?
We're trying. OPS uses Tableau to be in the business of the school. We use Tableau everywhere. As a teacher, I can view my classes. And if you're the more higher up you go to the admin, the more things you can view. So a lot of it is just blocked. Not everybody can view everything about the school.
The paid licenses.
No, it's there's a lot of data. A lot of the data is you can only view what you're allowed to view, and because a lot of data are jury data or it's student data, so that all those are under the HR. They say I can view things about my students, but I can't view things about somebody else's students. So unless you're an admin, and if you're an admin, then you can view people that you were admins for. You don't have to do that. But me as a teacher, I can only view my students, my current students. So depending on what you have, then you have more roles you can play and it. So right now I can view, but I can create. in their version. So I have like now with the teacher license, I can create things and play with it, but I can't piggyback with the data from the school.
That's how most people are with Power BI. Power BI, most people have experience just like you. 90% you can go ahead and just you can drag and drop some of the walls, but it's very limited. Yeah. But one day I had it a lot. So much.
Right now the Power BI is what I'm teaching to my students this month. And it's just like if you already know Excel, stuff a little bit of it. It's just so easy. Like we can just click, drag, things happen. You don't have to know a ton to make things happen. So I so far found it a lot easier to Tableau for like a big interview. So you just want to create a couple of things, you just want to put some things together. That's very manageable.
It's almost like a mix between Excel and PowerPoint. You want to create that application, dig a little bit deeper, and that allows you.
So we'll see, like this month is going to be their first project where I'm letting them use Power BI to do their visuals and see how that goes. And then the next project, next month, I guess they can pick and choose. We're going to get the most people that want to use this.
Most people as a student or faculty.
All right, let's go ahead and get going. I think this should take maybe like 10 minutes. We're gonna walk through everything from start to finish. And then assignment will pretty much just be, the hard part will be finding a data set that is interesting to you. And then the assignment is literally just do anything in Tableau and publish it. So really the goal is to just understand how to get stuff in there, how to build something, how to publish it. It doesn't really matter what that something is. So I'm gonna walk you guys kind of start to finish, how to get up and going here. So step one, if you don't already have Tableau Public downloaded, I just dropped the link in the chat. Please use that link, otherwise you might accidentally download. I mean, obviously you won't accidentally pay for anything unless you have your credit card, but just to make sure we're all using the same thing, click that link, literally first name, last name, email, role, state, download the app. You'll get a download, it'll take 4 or 5 minutes or whatever, and then you should be able to open it up and it will look just like what I just showed. So if you want to get started on that in the background, work ahead a little bit, feel free to do that. Once you have Tableau downloaded, you will want to go out to Tableau Public, public.tableau.com, or if you're lazy like me, just Google Tableau Public and click the first link, and download Superstore Sales. So, sorry, go to Tableau Public. Why does I keep doing that? Under Learn, I have no idea why it keeps going to the bottom. Under Learn, click Sample Data, and it'll pop up this page. And you can see there's all sorts of different sample data in here. The very first one is Superstore Sales. Click download, right? We get a nice little download. This is my 5th class up top. It's the 5th time I've downloaded it. That is what we'll use for all of our in-class examples. So download that, download Tableau Public, and we are off into the races. And then I'll go through some of the other data here in a bit. So step 1, download Tableau Public. Step 2, download that data. If you have it downloaded, actually, let's just pause for like 2 minutes because it shouldn't take that long to download. Are you downloading right now? Cool. Yeah, we'll wait just a second. That way we can all go together. If you guys run into any issues, please say something. Anyone online still or virtually still downloading? Good.
I'm good.
Okay. Give me 2 more minutes. Good. Thumbs up. A couple more minutes. If you have Tableau downloaded, make sure you go out and download Superstore Sales as well too. While we're waiting, I'm going to drop a few different links in the Slack of cool places to get data. Let's just cover those real quick now while we're waiting for people to finish up downloading. So once we go through our example here, I'll ask you guys to find a data set. On same thing, Tableau Public Learn under sample data. Here are a few, I don't know, 50 or so business data sets, entertainment, sports, public data, education. These are just things that Tableau has used for their various examples and classes and things like that. But also it has some of them have sources on here. So you can see this Netflix movies and TV shows originally came from Kaggle. So you can see information is beautiful.net, PokemonDB.net, data.world, Sophia.com, Wikipedia, right? So it lists a few different other places that you can go out to, but this is a good starter place. I was referencing Makeover Monday earlier, which is listed down at the bottom, or again, I tossed the link in the Slack channel. This is the competition I was saying where every Monday, work with a given data set to create better, more effective visualizations. So you can go back and see some of the former submissions, but it also has all the data sets that they've used before. So Steam, top 100 played games, secret video games, World Happiness Report 2025, 1 in 4 Americans say it's wrong to eat an octopus, St. Patrick's Day Center. So you can scroll through here and see a lot of different data sets as well too. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands. And then my favorite actually, just Google data set search. It's this really nice Google UI. I'm really into Husker football, right? So I could search like college football, hit search, and 100 plus data sets found. Public interest in college football in US 2023 by gender, college football game stats, college football data sets, EA Sports college football, right? So what else could you be interested in? Like food, popularity, You can see all sorts of different things, examples here too. So if you don't really know where to start, you just want to scroll through and find stuff other people have published. Tableau Public and Makeover Monday are great. If you're like have something very specific you want to look for, you can go out and use Google Datasets. And I dropped all three of those in the Slack as well too. You download it? Good. Sweet. Okay. Once we have Superstore downloaded, open up Tableau Public. Yours will not look like this. These are like my most recent ones, right? So you can see my fall night 7 up here. This will probably be blank. But anytime you open it up, there are, look, explore sample data sets, learn, read the blog, get started with Tableau Public. The viz of the day always catches my attention. I go and check it out there. So there's always some cool like additional learning stuff over to the right too. But once we have it open, we will do this every night except for one. We'll connect to a different data set, but every night we'll go into under connect where it says to a file, or connect to Microsoft Excel. So all you do is click that once and it pops up your little file explorer here. Under downloads, you should be able to see the sample Superstore that you just downloaded. Double click that and boom, drum roll, it takes us to our data source. Does everyone have that? Some nods, some thumbs up. Some thumbs up, I appreciate that, Maria. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up. This is what the Excel looks like. We covered the orders already, but you can see there's 3 different tabs down here. We have orders, we have returns, and we have people, right? These are 3 kind of different data sets inside this workbook. If you go over here in sheets, you can see we have orders, we have people, we have returns. So we can join those all up together and we make one data source. We'll cover that in a different night. Tonight, we're just going to drag orders over. Boom. One simple drag over to the main screen. Everything should populate like this. Does everyone have that? No? Yes, sweet. Once you drag that over, look, sheet 1 turned orange. It says go to worksheet. All we have to do is click over into that. And boom, you guys have the exact layout, the exact setup of everything I did in my examples earlier. So, right, the example we made, we dragged category on the rows, we dragged sales on the columns. Theirs was that. We create another sheet. We drag category. You guys don't have to follow along. I'm just showing examples. Drag this, right? You click into show me. Everything that we just covered was there. If we want to drag a filter up there, we can do that, right? I don't need to go through all the examples that we just did, but that is how you get set up with Tableau. Data set, drag it in, go to sheet. Super simple. Any questions on that? All right, then the rest of the time, again, feel free to spend 5 minutes doing this. Feel free to spend an hour. Feel free to go home right now and do it tomorrow. Your homework, and I'll toss this in the Slack channel as well too, so you guys have the exact specifics. Actually, let's just do it right now. I've changed the assignment from last time, so we're not going to do that one. This will be a new one. Find a data set, ideally that you are interested in, right? It's way more easy to learn stuff if you're actually interested in the data. Last class I taught, this guy downloaded like an Airbnb data set. I don't know if you ever followed up with it, but he thought he like found some indicator that Airbnb was gonna, I can't remember if they were gonna go bankrupt or gonna make like $1 million more. Like, I might take this and like go invest in Airbnb. I'm like, hey man, if you want to, I'm not a financial advisor, do whatever you want. But the point is find data sets that are interesting to you. Use the links in the Slack to start. Download the data set. Bring the data set into Tableau. right in there, connect to source, drag and drop the sheet. And then literally the only homework is build something. That can be a bar chart, line chart, whatever chart. It doesn't matter if here's an example I showed, if it's something you want to do some exploratory analysis and like find a new chart that we didn't cover already. Night 2 on Wednesday, we'll cover out how to build actual charts and how to make them pretty and stuff. But the goal is to just make sure you can connect, bring in, build something. Now the very last step, I just remembered I need to show you, publish to Tableau Public. To do that, right, here I'm back into Tableau again. You can go File, Save to Tableau Public. It's also the default thing if you just click Save. It says Save to Tableau Public. It may ask you to sign in. Let's see if I can remember my username and password on the spot. Cool. Give it a workbook title. What do you say? Data is. I would suggest for you guys just titling these all like night 1 homework, night 2 homework, night 3 homework, just to keep them all straight, be able to go back and look. So actually, I'll do that too. Night 1 homework, spring 2025. Click Save. It will publish all my different views. And then voila, in Tableau Public, night 1 homework. One kind of tricky thing, and I'll toss this in the notes on the homework as well too. I don't know why it does this. It will always publish by default whichever sheet you're in. So you can see I'm in sheet 2 and I click save. This is up. Where's sheet 1, you're wondering? You have to go to settings and click show sheets. I'm not sure why by default it's turned off. But if I turn that on, then you can see across the top I have sheet 1, sheet 2. So I will say right here, publish to public, save. One. Publish. Saves. Okay. Cool. I will be here and I will keep the stream live for the next hour until 9:30. So if I were you guys, I'd use this time to do this right now. But if you need to get out of here, feel free to get out of here. Last thing, sorry. When you're done, send a link to Charlie in Slack. Any questions on the homework? Cool. Well, then I will just kind of awkwardly stand and sit here until you guys have questions.
How do we save privately or allegedly privately?
Yeah, so allegedly, under File, you can have, I think, just save as or save. Will allow you to save it right here.
Also, it'll save the project locally, basically.
I think so. Yeah. All right, I will leave this open so you guys can kind of follow along the steps. And then, like I said, I'll kind of awkwardly stand and sit here. If you guys have questions, raise your hand. If you're virtual, just shout, and we can share screens and crank it out together. You just slip that right there on that little tray. Thank you.
Can we share the interesting data set to you also?
Yeah, if you want to drop the link in there, feel free.
If we bring our own Excel with a bunch of tables, that's not going to be as powerful as already built out database, right? With like hyper TDS, FDS, all that, the indicator and all that.
Depends. There's a lot of really cool data sets out there that are just in Excel.
So we're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I probably have that, so license on it, so my
Oh,
does
sweet.
not have the same to,
Oh, okay.
even though I'm using the same email. So is that another way to?
Did you download Tableau Public?
I think I only have the web version right now. I don't know if I can download it with.
Yeah, let's see. I think if you just download this. Yeah, I think this is a Tableau test. What version of file? Oh, no, that's great.
Yes.
So I think when this gets done, you should be able to use this. So you'll still have your Tableau desktop, and this will just be a second app. So then you can use this for all your work stuff, and then for class, you can use Tableau.
Okay, probably won't be able to do it tonight then.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
fine.
think it's gonna be needing the special admin code.
Oh, okay. To actually get up and use the app. So
Yeah, they won't let me install it.
that's
otherwise.
totally fine. I saw what you built there, so don't worry about publishing it.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, I have a couple answers.
So when I'm searching the text, search.
Yep.
So like, this is what I was. And then originally, the screen something down here. It was showing like. Anyways. I can't, it will only do like SSM. And then I downloaded it, I can't put it, but I don't know if I can use that.
Be able to do the download.
I downloaded that, you can see it in the downloads.
That's super annoying. I don't know if they're all in zip format, but if they are, you just have to click on it and click extract all. I would think.
Originally, it took me to statistical or something.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
It's like premium.
Oh.
I'm not paying $200.
Yeah, call them Daisy.
So I don't see a file,
Okay, so you want to use this data set?
Yeah.
So I think.
This.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Yeah, see you.
Yeah, good night. You know, we can get out to the side door, just
Yep.
go to the front.
You can get up.
Okay, thank you.
I think that maybe, because there should be a spot that just download the data itself, but I wonder if there's a how you can turn that off.
Trying to find something else.
So the crosstab is essentially just downloading the data that's on the view right here. So it'll look a little different. Let's see.
You could have to drag it all the way.
Yeah. So, like I said, all that downloading is just like the data that's on here.
Yeah.
We still should be able to do. So it's not as much data as was in there, but it still has the tile, the series, and that creating a number of posts.
Yeah.
So enough in there to play around with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Matt, you doing okay over there?
Doing good, yeah.
Cool. Is this one of your guys' backpacks? Hopefully that wasn't hers, but I feel like it might be. Don't want to dig through it. Oh, message sorry.
So that didn't work. So then I started searching again and
Give me 1 second. Let me message that someone look at that.
maybe I just choose something.
Okay.
So if every time where else should I search that? It's kind of this fine.
What didn't work?
So that zip file.
Okay.
You saved it and then I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, it
Like
should
where
be.
it's
Okay, so download as a CSV instead of an Excel.
Okay.
For those, you're gonna go to next file, which is
oh, okay.
but there you go.
Awesome. Thanks.
What was that?
Well, I was finished with it. Trying to file and save it so I could send it to you on Slack, and then it just put me back to the original data table. So I don't know where I can find it. Okay, maybe it was mine.
That's what you're using, right?
The whole thing.
Because here's the one with the data.
Yeah,
That we pulled in.
I'll have to drag it down.
You should be able to.
I don't remember seeing that stuff on the front. Was that just because I had half of it?
Yeah, I think you downloaded this one. So we close out, that's just this one, so we save this one. Save right that. But then we downloaded just the data from here. And then that one we pulled into this one. So I think we probably just have the wrong workbook open. But you should be able to mess around with that.
Thank you.
Fun fact, The Simpsons was my favorite show of all time. Maybe still is, but
It's my favorite show of all time.
I used to watch
Obviously, I guess my backpack says it's
it. Oh, sweet. Love that.
All right. Have a good night. I sent you my homework. Hello?
Hey.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna log off for the night, so I sent you my homework. Just if you can give me feedback on it.
Perfect.
I
Love it.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. See you Wednesday.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night. Just got a big thank you.
The original animated and the number of users.
All right, Nancy, I got your homework as well too. Looks like you're the last person virtually here, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and I will send out the link. Thank you guys for a great night.
I know, isn't that wild? Well, it started in December. Well, technically, I mean.